Cavaliers in control from the get-go tonight, and they win Game 2, 122 to 103. They are now 19-1 on their home floor in the postseason since Kevin Durant signed up before last season. 2-0 finals lead for the third time in the 4 chapters of this series between these two teams as they head to Cleveland with that 2-0 lead. Golden State in control pretty much from the tip tonight. Postgame underway here on NBA TV. Kenny, Zeke, Grant, I'm Matt. Good to have you with us. Cavaliers were up for the grind tonight, right? But it never felt to me like there was much of a chance that they were going to win this game.
You know, it didn't feel that way, although they hung around for a lot of part of the game. And look, they had 4 guys in double figures. LeBron James did not have the gaudy numbers he's had that he had in Game 1. But other guys came to play. Kevin Love played well. Tristan Thompson, George Hill.
Good bounce back game from Hill.
And they scored, in theory, over 100 points, so they scored enough. It was their defense. And really, from the start of the game, that set the tone. Golden State, I think their first 4 or 5 baskets were just easy layups at the rim. And really, at the end of the game, third quarter and the fourth, it was their inability to guard the three-point line. So defensively, just no setting the tone on the road after a heartbreaking loss. And I think it came back to hurt them. 122 points they gave up to the Warriors. Just not acceptable.
Well, that's, again, why it never felt to me like they were going to win the game. They would get within 4 or 5, and then the Warriors would hit another big shot, whether at the rim or a 3. They were 9 of 9 from the restricted area in the first quarter alone, as the Cavs had this extreme switching philosophy on and off the ball, and guys just kept getting loose.
Well, layups. As much as you can look at the 3, Steph Curry's 11 for 26, so he missed shots. But when you give up so many layups to JaVale McGee, Sean Livingston, guys are shooting perfect from the field, you know, because they're shooting layups. So the layups hold you over until your guys, Kevin Durant or Klay Thompson, or now tonight Steph, can get you over the hump. So those 5-point leads that they can continue to get, then all of a sudden you get an 8-point lead turns to 11, all quickly. But layups are inexcusable, because right now, yes, it is an isolation, but someone should be having a foot in the paint at some point to either help, get back, do anything. I didn't even know we had a layup package, but this is a real nice one, because overall, to me, Isaiah, you know, when you give up layups, it builds confidence, and it lets you find the rim, and then you can be a great shooter.
Zeke, help me understand the Cavaliers' defensive philosophy tonight. They switched everything, on-ball screens, off-ball screens, just movement off the ball, and it led to a lot of bad mismatches for them defensively.
You know, Matt, sometimes we always talk about, or we'll talk about selfish players, and we only think of selfishness in terms of offense. I thought what I saw tonight was the Cavaliers were selfish defensively. That meant that they were only concerned about their man. Even when they would switch, right, they switched selfishly to take themselves out of the play, not to necessarily be a part of the play defensively. I thought everyone was kind of protecting their turf and playing for the stat sheet tonight to basically say, it's not my fault. And when I watch them, and this is what I mean, you see there's help, but then there's no helping the helper. When you go to help, there's got to be your teammate that helps the helper. So you give up layups, you give up missed shots, rotation, all of those things come into play. And again, there's the drive, there's the kick out, easy shot, easy baskets. I thought a lot of times they left Kevin Love out on the island by himself, guarding Steph Curry.
And Thompson.
And what Curry figured out early was that, okay, those guys can't stay with me in movement. So he'll make a move on a dribble, and then he'll pass the basketball, and then he will cut really quick. And consequently, the big now has to stay with a small while he's cutting and moving. And Curry was able to really exploit that.
Yeah, it was interesting because you had Love and Thompson stuck on Steph Curry at times. And the opposite
all the
was
time.
true. Well,
Not
a lot of
all
times.
the time.
And the
All the
opposite was true, especially early in the game where you had guys like George Hill trying to deal with JaVale McGee when he's under the rim already.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I mean, I don't recall Cleveland switching this much. You know, it's almost like
they watched
Houston
and
felt
they said
like
we're going to try to do that because they became stagnant when they played Houston.
Exactly. But to Isaiah's point, you know, look, a lot of those plays, you just can't diagram that defensively. The way the Warriors move the ball, they don't have sets so much. They just kind of pass and cut and move and have principles. So a lot of that you can't diagram from the bench. You just have to, it has to be effort. It has to be willing to trust one another and be there for one another and be connected. And I didn't see that connectivity as Isaiah talked about. And of all teams, you got to be connected here against this Golden State Warriors team. And, you know, you see all three of those. We always say that, you know, with Golden State, the luxury is, you know, only two guys of their big three have to play well. Well, they all played well.
Right.
and when that happens and they score 100-some points, it's going to be a long night.
Well, the place went nuts again tonight because of Steph Curry's exploits, and it had plenty of reason to, because he goes for an NBA Finals record, 9 made threes in 17 attempts for his 33 tonight, a game high, as the Warriors run away with it, led by as many as 23 on their way to a 19-point win.
Well, just an unbelievable shooter who got hot at the right time. And then knowing that Kevin Love is on him, who is playing cautious defense. He's not defending him. He's cautiously defending him. All of these plays, these guys are just saying, I just want to put a hand up. They're not saying, I'm going to force him left. I'm going to force him. Greatest shooter of all time.
Kyle Kuzma thinks so.
I think, you know, I won't go there yet. I'll say it's close. But when you have a big on you, they have to play you cautiously. So they're saying, my goal is to just put a hand in your face. But when you have a perimeter defender on you, he's saying, I'm going to make him go a certain way, which in turn makes your shot a little bit more difficult. So to me, to switch every single time allows Steph to know that the defense is being cautious. So now the defense is really on a defensive back pedal. They're not being aggressively defensive. And I don't think that's a steady diet that you can win any kind of championship with.
Yeah, and the switches occurred with the big man that he has superior foot speed over. So it wasn't like the bigs that were switching out on him could keep up with his foot speed. And then with his ball handling ability, there was no help situations. And that's the thing that I found a little disheartening tonight from a competitive standpoint. And this is why I say, like, Cleveland's defense tonight was very selfish. You know, normally we talk again about offensive players being selfish, but I thought defensively they were very selfish and not helping each other and leaving each other in very uncomfortable positions. And the bigs was out on the island a lot, and frankly, very embarrassing positions, and teammates did not come to help.
Steve Kerr, before Game 2, suggested his team needed to do a better job against LeBron James defensively in terms of not making things easy for him, making him work a little harder for shots. LeBron, I thought LeBron looked a little tired in this game. Still came up with numbers, 10 of 20. He had 29, 9 rebounds, 13 assists, 1 rebound.
He's
shy
exhausted.
of a triple-double.
29, 13, and 9. He's exhausted.
Well, I mean, his standard is a little different, but tell me what you saw defensively from the Warriors and from LeBron offensively.
I thought they gave him different looks early in the game, which kind of took a little bit of his aggressiveness away. I thought they double-teamed him a lot whenever he was in open space. You see him here with Green, and you see the three. You see 3 people coming to help, right? So they kept him off balance, and he was dependent on his teammates to make shots. And sometimes off traps, they would hedge out hard. I thought McGee did a good job in terms of, you know, contesting his shots, making him put it on the floor. But I just thought that they were much more cognizant of where he was out on the floor, what he was trying to do, and every time he went to the rim, they challenged his shot. But I thought the double teaming of him on and off kept him off balance.
Yeah, at times they double teamed him. I like too how they were in the boxes and elbow sets.
Yes.
They were more alert. So now when he has the ball and he's in isolation, he doesn't just see his man in the basket.
Right.
He sees 3 or 4 sets of eyes there, foot near the paint, just kind of packing it in, still with the ability to get out and contest the shooters. He sees that wall now. Now, he's still great. He's still crafty, and at times he was still able to get to the basket. But you have to give Golden State credit. They did a better job of making a little bit more difficult. He's still pretty good and very efficient, but it was just a little bit harder in terms of getting those baskets when he was being aggressive.
And maybe the game changes a little bit if his three-point shooters knocked down a little better percentage. They were at 33% tonight, because a lot of times when the defense collapsed on him, he would kick it out to a corner three, and if that doesn't go.
Tough game plan. You know, it's a tough game plan with playing against this team. Houston was, you know, probably the most successful team at doing it, where they have one guy or two guys isolate, and then everyone else stands and waits and knock down shots. But at times you would also see, obviously, Chris Paul take over, Eric Gordon take over in the last series. With this series, it's all LeBron. And so Golden State is looking at this saying, yeah, I understand what you're trying to do, but you don't have the same personnel to actually manifest this.
Right.
So they're going home. They have to go back to the drawing board, because fundamentally things aren't working. And fundamentally these things might not change. They're not going to change. Kevin Love's not going to be able to guard Steph Curry in Cleveland, in Golden State, on the moon, anywhere. One-on-one. So they're going to have to fundamentally change that.
What about the dark side of the moon?
No, the dark side of the moon, it gets worse.
You can't get him over there.
No, you can't see over there.